how many will be piloted in planes flown by pro-Hamas pilots. The Stop Antisemitism project exposed the social media posts of a United Airlines pilot who goes by the name Ibrahim Mossallam. He called the October 7th attacks, which killed 1,200 Israelis, including seeing Hamas roast babies in ovens, as, quote, resistance by brave people. He posted that on October 7th. It appears as though United didn't know about the post for more than a month, which in and of itself is scary, or didn't care to know about the post, which is also scary. More than a month. He flew unsuspecting passengers, someone who glorified Hamas's actions. When we asked United for comment on the situation yesterday, it took them 7 hours to respond, saying they had removed him from service, with pay, of course, while they look into the matter, as if somehow there would be an explanation for these posts. His Facebook profile is of Gaza drenched in blood. You can see him there in his United uniform. This was not an unprovoked attack, he wrote. We sent United a list of remarkably simple questions. Does United screen social media posts of pilots for terrorist sympathies before hiring? Does United screen current pilots' social media posts for concerning things, be it about terrorism or anything else? What is United's policy for pilots posting on social media about terrorists? In light of the Mossallam situation, are you rethinking any policies? In light of the Mossallam situation, are you looking at social media posts of pilots and or other employees responsible for passenger safety? Very simple questions. And seemingly questions that we would all like an answer to, especially if you're flying United this weekend. I am. We got nothing in reply. United's chief communications officer is Josh Earnest, formerly of the Obama White House, except now he doesn't have to answer the questions. Then we have to think about Secretary Pete Buttigieg. He's been all over TV today talking about travel tips and the like. He's also been pushing diversity for FAA hiring. Have to wonder if diversity includes terrorist sympathizers. United has an entire website dedicated to their diversity push, unitedaviate.com. So just save that thought for 1 second here. Remember, pilots can board planes without going through security. It's called the Known Crew Member Program. You've probably seen pilots walking through the out exit of security in airports. Makes sense, right? If someone's in the cockpit, stopping them from having a pair of scissors doesn't make sense. But if a pilot wanted to crash the plane into something, suddenly a weapon in the cockpit becomes extraordinarily useful. Being able to get through security with that weapon is terrifying. There are roughly 73,000 airline pilots in the United States. Over 617,000 people hold active pilot certificates. And as far as we can tell, there is zero effort to scan their social media. If you're flying a little Cessna, okay, we get it. But if you're working for United Airlines, perhaps posting about Hamas, somebody would have noticed over a month. What about the other pilots? What about the pilots he flew with? Think about that after 9/11. Malaysian 370, or the Egyptian Airlines flight out of New York, in which a pilot flew it into the ocean, killing everybody. The airlines just don't seem to care. Perhaps United worries that looking for terrorist sympathizers might hurt their diversity score. They proudly display their diversity awards on United Aviate. As we understand it, after 9/11, it's up to the airlines to police their pilots. Aside from a cursory background check for flight school for foreign pilots, after that, what pilots post on social media doesn't get much scrutiny unless their employers did it. Speaking of employers, we checked with American, United, Delta, Southwest, JetBlue, and Spirit to see if they are looking at the social media posts of their pilots. We have not heard back. It's scary, right? It's not a United thing, but I know Josh, he doesn't like to face hard issues. So it makes sense why United doesn't want to talk about it. They hope this will go away, that nobody will talk about it. But they should talk about it. They should be willing to face it. They should be willing to discuss what they're doing to protect all of us, because we have a right to know if terrorist sympathizers are flying our loved ones this weekend. Joining me now, former Deputy National Security Advisor to President Trump, Victoria Coates. Victoria, it's good to see you. Thank you. Does this surprise you?
Great to see you, Leland. And, you know, it really does, because when I was in government, serving in the White House, serving in the Senate, my social media was monitored all the time. And quite frankly, the Heritage Foundation also monitors our social media now to make sure that we're not posting anything disturbing or alarming. And that's the important thing about social media. This is public. This isn't some private communication that's being intruded upon by an overzealous FBI or DOJ. This is what this person wanted to be known for publicly, and I concur with you. This is totally a DEI move. They wanted this guy as an official pilot to United, and that was more important than taking care of their passengers.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.